although I'm the one on the start line and I'm the one doing the job, I'm not the only person that's involved in any performance I do. So I've missed that quite a lot.
And where do you get that motivation from to actually go out and continue to compete and to train? So Amy, thank you so much for joining us on Tail Talks. Can you just give an overview of who you are and what your current situation is?
Yeah, so my name is Amy Allcock. I'm a British 400 metre runner, competing in 400 and also the 4x4 relay. I was training to make the Olympics, which have now been postponed until next year. So I'm still training to make the Olympics. It's just a longer wait to get to experience it. But otherwise, I am still training as a full-time athlete and still planning to make the Olympics.
How have you had to adapt with everything in terms of those types of changes, and how are you mentally having to adapt as well to keep yourself going?
We kind of adapted quite early, and I've always been quite an adaptable person when it comes to my training, and we saw that the changes were going to kind of implement on how we could train and the effect that I could lose. Like, there was an essential effect that I would be losing, like my whole training group and my coach and that hands-on experience. So I just basically picked to move back down to my parents' house for a few weeks. Obviously at the time it was a few weeks and it's got a bit longer now, but it was based around supporting my mental health, on getting through the fact that I didn't have many answers for what I was doing. Obviously I've lived alone and I've done all of that, so I'm quite independent. So going back into an environment where I'm not was quite interesting and testing at the start, but it's worked really well. It's meant that I've got more access to places that I can train, and like I can change training up a little bit and make it a bit more interesting. So I've been utilising like the golf courses around my parents' house. My parents live in the middle of nowhere a little bit, so there's been like some nicer places to go for runs.
And how are you now then having to, not just mentally but physically, keep going in terms of there's such an unknown there? How are you keeping going? How are you changing things so you can adapt and make sure that you're going to be ready for when that time comes?
So I obviously, like when it comes to like my programming and things, that's quite out of my control. I don't have much to do with it, so I trust in my coach a lot of the time. We kind of work off a 6-week plan a lot of the time. So the plan is to be race fit by week 6. We have hit that start of the 6-week thing 3 times now, and then had to take a step back again. When the Olympics got postponed, it was inevitable to happen, but it was still quite a big hit because in my head I was still going to be training for the Olympics at this point of the year. So I've focused more on my weakness points in a race, and general maintenance around those instead of being needed to be ridiculously fit at this point of the year.
How would you suggest, or what would you advise to others that are either in a sport or just wanting to be able to do physical exercise and sport? What would you advise to them in terms of finding that motivation to actually go out and do it? And where do you get that motivation from to actually go out and continue to compete and to train?
So for me, there's been a lot of like personal development points that I've taken away in the past 5 weeks. I've sat down and I've been like, this is a weakness of mine. I've had niggles in the past that have been all focused around this one area. And although they're well maintained and I get physio treatment, I don't obviously now, but this is the perfect time for me to sit down and fix it, or try and attempt to fix it a little bit more myself so that it doesn't become a problem next year.
Yeah.
So like personal development from an athlete point of view, I've taken that time. I think especially with businesses that are having the time where there's not many sales or the services that they offer aren't being able to be provided, it would be a case of like taking a step back and looking at how you can like develop internally or yourself to then mean that when things can start to come back into light, you can utilize what you've learned from that.
No, I completely agree. I think it's such a massive opportunity to reevaluate things, and it's almost that pressure is then put upon you because of this to actually go out and do it. And I think in a way it's quite a good opportunity to be able to reflect on things and to be able to do that. If this comes to a close at some point soon, what are you kind of most looking forward to getting back to doing with your kind of day-to-day life?
Post lockdown, I don't think the things that I've struggled with from a training point of view and from like the elite athlete side of things is not having a group. So that's what I'm most looking forward to, having, even if it was socially distanced, having a few people around to help you through a session makes the world of difference. Although I'm the one on the start line and I'm the one doing the job, I'm not the only person that's involved in any performance I do. So I've missed that quite a lot, and I can't wait for that to come back.
Has there been an athlete or either prior to this or during this that has inspired you or that you've admired during this period that's maybe done something different, that's tried to help others, or done something that's just gone out and done something differently?
Seeing all the stuff that's been going on in terms of like raising money for the NHS, I think that's really important. There was the guy that did a marathon in his back garden. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah.
He was one of the first stupid things that I saw happening, and I was like, I really liked and really respected it, because I was like, I will go for a run and I will literally get halfway and be like, oh my gosh, why am I doing this? And to be able to, like, for someone that's not probably training that hard, and obviously he's fit, he works like within gyms, I think, but stuff like that, I was like, that's really nice. And it was one of the first things, and it started off a bit of a craze, which has been really good to see. And I'm liking the challenges that are going on at the moment in support of the London Marathon, where they're doing like a version of either 26 of something or like a 2.6 mile run or something like that. I like those because some of the ideas that people are coming up with are really different. So I think I might get involved with that one. I have a few ideas which are not, I mean, my coach will tell me off, potentially. I want to try and do 26 cartwheels in a row, but I'm trying to figure out where's the safest place to do it. So I haven't quite got it done yet, but yeah, I think it's nice to see people thinking outside the box and like doing different things, and people are showing off their personalities a lot more as well.
Yeah, and I think they're the things that keep people going mentally as well, aren't they? Because they're the things that people can relate to, and it really does help. Like you say, like the guy did the marathon in his garden, it's something a bit ridiculous and silly, but it keeps people going. So no, I think that's good. I think that's a great place to end as well. So thank you so much for joining us, and it's been really interesting because I know it must be so difficult with everything that you're trying to go through and all the changes that are happening. So, you know, hopefully it will inspire someone that is going through the changes as well to keep going, to keep pushing, and to find new ways to kind of help yourself as well. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. It's been really good.